Very ready? Call to order the St. Lawrence County Industrial Development Agency. Roll
Okay.
call.
Mr. Staples,
Here.
Mr. LaBeouf,
Here.
Mr. Blevins,
Here.
Mr. Hall, Mr. Reagan,
Here.
Mr. McMahon, Mr. Morrow.
Public notice was issued May 17th, 2023. Is there any public comment? There being no public, I doubt that there's public comment.
They gave me one, huh?
Do you want to introduce yourselves?
Kevin and Genevieve, you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell the board?
Certainly. My name is Kevin McAuliffe. I'm an attorney with Barclay Damon. I work out of our Syracuse office. And I'm representing Air Products on its quest to build a green hydrogen facility in the town of Messina.
And I'm Genevieve Trigg. I'm from a partner at Barclay Damon in the Albany office. And I'm here on behalf of TJA Clean Energy for the Canton Solar Project.
Thank you. I hope you have a good time with us. So our motion to approve minutes? So moved. Seconded. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Excuse me. Financial reports for December 2022, January, February, and March 2023.
Okay, if you go to page 4 of your packet, you'll see your,
Do I hear a motion?
sorry.
So moved. Yep. Second.
Okay, page 4 of your packet is your December highlight sheet. I'm going to just let you know this reconciles back to your audit, which was approved at the March meeting. So unless anybody has any specific questions on this, we've already went over all of these details when we approved the audit. No questions?
Are there any questions? I move to accept the report. It's been moved and seconded.
Okay, there are January, February, and March as well. If you want to just look at those highlight sheets on page 11, 18, and 25 of your packet, if you, I can go over them, or if you have any questions.
No, I've been over. this,
Yeah.
Pat.
It was your typical standard entries for your month with a few, we had pilot payments come in, pilot payments go out, administrative payments received. You can always contact me also if you have any questions upon reviewing.
Are there any questions? Any further questions?
Well, there's the contract, we're still losing money, right?
We're staying alive, yes.
The motion has been moved and seconded. Vote. All in favor? Aye. It passes unanimously. Board and committee, staff.
We have more recommendations today for an ARPA approval. We will need an executive session a little later on in the meeting to discuss some of them. You have the county agreement in the meeting packet. That is the sub-recipient agreement for us as the administrator of some of these funds on behalf of the county. As an update, Michaels is moving out of this building. We've talked about that. They're in a phase of the project with NIPA where they are moving over to the east. They're actually going to be renting space in the Lot 19 building in the Messina Industrial Park that is owned by the River Valley Agency and the Local Development Corporation. Phase 3 work is underway at the 100 Patterson Street facility. We are in contact with the State Historic Preservation Office regarding the Messina School of Business Downtown Revitalization Initiative project. We will have a memorandum of understanding for you to authorize us to enter into with the village for that project, likely at our next meeting. We're moving forward. We have the grant agreement, but we just want to clear our proposed work through SHPO before we get too far along in that process. Marketing activities are picked up. John and Brian are in Ottawa today, as a matter of fact. We have a series of trade shows and other events in Ontario and Quebec upcoming, starting this month and going into the fall. We did receive approval for a $10,000 marketing grant from National Grid. You'll recall we are trying to secure the sources of a lead generation firm in Canada. National Grid will pay up to $10,000 of that cost. I anticipate doing a second bid for services in later on this summer. We did one, it did not get as much of a response as we had hoped. We will either rebid, or we will come to you with a recommendation, but right now we're still reviewing the responses that we received. The BOCES career fairs are upcoming. I'm gonna defer to Lori on this. We have some workforce development events that we are partnering with BOCES on in the upcoming months. Go ahead,
Yes.
Lori.
Well, this will be the first time that BOCES is going to be hosting at each one of their 3 tech centers, a career fair for their students, particularly for their seniors, who are going to be graduating here. Also, they'll invite juniors to come if companies are interested in wanting to talk with junior students about summer opportunities. But this was something that we've been talking about in our workforce development calls and saying how we'd like to have a job fair for students who are leaving and going into the workforce. So this came out of that, which will be really great. We've been working with BOCES with trying to get employers there. We've got over 30 employers that are registered to attend these events, which is really great. So, and we've got a business in the spotlight the Chamber's going to be hosting. They're going to be showing the program's Handshake, which is a platform that all 4 colleges in the area are using. They let their students, both their current students and their alumni know about position openings in St. Lawrence County.
Did you say handshake?
Yes, it's called Handshake. It's the name of the platform. And so the Chamber is going to host a couple of the colleges in a webinar so that businesses can learn more about how they can connect with Handshake at the college level. So, and there will be they're going to have a lunch and learn, the Chamber, and then also they're going to do a business spotlight event at St. Lawrence University coming up on May 31st. So everybody can learn about it, and see how they can connect with the colleges.
Again, all the project activity that we generate requires job creation, workforce development. So we are working more with some of our partners, some of these sources of potential workers to try to make sure that as these projects move forward, we're doing all we can to develop potential and future workers. The last thing is, next meeting is our annual meeting. So that's, you typically would appoint a nominating committee or your board officer recommendations for the next meeting.
You want to do that now? As well.
Your chairman's pleasure.
Look around the room, we have 3 present, so I can say,
Who's not present?
who's not present? We'll appoint the 3 that are present. Ernie is chairman and, what's your name? Fred. Fred.
I'd be Steve Morrow.
And you're sitting. So, you all accept?
Yes.
Yes. You had the committee.
There we go. Thank you. That is it for your staff report.
Okay, we have new business. We have 7 resolutions. Sometimes we will gather them together and do similar ones than one motion. Do you intend to do that, or do you want them done individually?
I think individually.
Individually, good. Okay, so do I hear a motion to approve the resolution for TGA New York Canton Solar Farm? So moved. Second. Discussion?
Rich, you hosted the public hearing this morning. No comments?
I'm outraged. I'm anger.
You have,
And there was nobody here?
just Rich expressing his own displeasure with things.
Okay.
No comments. You have the cost benefit analysis. I will draw your attention to page 40. Exhibit A, which is the succinct description of the project and the benefits.
Succinct?
Yes,
Did you go to Cornell?
I did.
Ah,
It's a solar, 5 megawatt solar project, total project amount about 10.9 million. Sales tax you are providing is up to $50,000. It's a 50-year pilot, based on the $5,000 per megawatt pilot schedule.
15-year pilot.
Correct.
And there was no one here this morning, Rick? Rick?
Correct. I had Genevieve and the local code officer connected via Zoom. Nobody showed up on site.
I have one question. I noticed that under number 9 and 10, no jobs are created.
That is correct. We take a very conservative view on these solar projects.
Well, does that include the construction of the?
It's not
That's what I want to raise, okay.
There are.
So this is after the construction,
Correct.
okay.
And typically 25 to 30 construction jobs,
This is 5 megawatts,
Yeah.
30 to 50.
30 to 50 construction. And there's ongoing maintenance jobs that typically be contracted out. We don't even count those.
All right, I'm satisfied then.
What period of time does it take them to construct this? 4 months, 5 months?
I think the 5 megawatt systems are averaging about 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes about 4 to 6 months.
And what happens in year 16?
Fully taxable.
It'll be fully on the tax roll based on the
Based on.
state's formula or assessors.
Based on 10.9 or whatever it is.
It's based on whatever the assessor's instructions are for real property at that time.
Does this go up for bid? For construction unions to bid on? This project?
Our client has an EPC contractor that they've bid a number of projects with. So this is under a portfolio. And that contractor will then bid out to local subs as applicable.
Thank you.
So Ernie, my conversations with one developers, they're having conversations with local union laborers, labor branches, 6 to 12 months in advance, so they know they have people lined up.
Good, I'm glad to hear that.
This is reasonably technical installation. I'm sure they're not just gonna hire someone.
Well, as a labor leader who's concerned with the jobs of labor unions, I like what I'm hearing,
That's good.
but I want to make sure we have work for our people up here in the North Country. That's why I support these kind of projects.
So we, did have that horrific accident. And, those people were coming from Fort Jarvis
I don't
to
know.
Madrid to work on the. So,
I can clarify that.
oh, yeah.
Over an Exxon project.
Okay, the approving resolution for TJA New York and Silver Farm has been moved and seconded. Discuss.
Call the question.
Call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Are you leaving us?
No, I'm actually gonna hang on, but I just wanted to say thank you.
Second, resolution approving resolution for St. Lawrence County, New York, S1 LLC. Do I hear a motion?
No move.
Second. Moved and seconded. Discussion.
Similar, we had a public hearing this morning. We have the record of comment, of which there is none. Page 53 is the exhibit A, companion to the one that you just passed. This one is a 4.4 megawatt project, $6.7 million. Sales tax exemption, $8,618. Mortgage recording tax exemption of $26,700. And then, based on the 5 megawatt, $22,000 year pilot.
Any more questions or discussion?
Call the question.
I call the questions.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Third resolution, approving resolution for the St. Lawrence County, New York, S2 LLC. Where motion?
No move.
Second, I can, discussion.
Page 66 has the succinct relative details. $7.6 million, sales tax of $11,239, mortgage recording tax of $30,413. This one is a 5 megawatt project with a first year pilot of $25,000.
And again, this morning, there was no one. Just project? Correct. Any further question?
Call the question.
Question has been called. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Thank you. Fourth resolution. Project authorizing Atlantic testing laboratory. Motion?
I'll move to bring that to the floor.
Second.
Discussion.
As you're aware, we've done a couple of drill rig projects with Atlantic Testing. Their drilling division is headquartered here in Canton, as is the overall company. This is the acquisition of a $430,000 CME 55 LC 300 rubber track drill trailer. Yeah,
I know exactly what it is.
I'll get you a demo if you wanna see it in
There you go.
action. These things are the GeoPro drilling rigs that they use all over the place, all over the state. The headquarter division's right across the river. If you haven't seen the work that they've been doing at the former Tamarack, former Megan Racine Cogen facility, I'd advise you to take a quick ride over. It is impressive. That's where the drilling division is headquartered. The first project, they had 20 jobs. They proposed creating 2 more within the division. They got to 22. At that point, for the second project, proposed another 2. As you'll see, they're now at 24, proposing another 2. The sales tax exemption would be valued at a little bit over $32,000.
So they met the requirements both times. The sales tax exemption is because these units will reside in St. Lawrence County?
Yes, and they would have to pay sales tax otherwise, but for our involvement.
Okay, and likely the 2 employees that will be hired or will be St. Lawrence County residents? I mean, they don't have to guarantee that, but it's more likely because they reside here.
Yes.
Okay.
And Atlantic Testing has about 60 employees in St. Lawrence County,
Correct.
out of their 200.
Out of about 300 now.
300.
Yep, they are growing. They just did.
And they are a good business.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
They just acquired a company in Buffalo, so their footprint is expanding, and we have a great relationship with them and work very hard to help them expand here.
Mr. Lavelle.
Call the question.
Call the question. All in favor? Don't oppose, passes unanimously.
One thing, before I forget.
It's already passed.
No, I don't mean that. I want to thank those who came to my 90th birthday party. And what you did, the IDA did for me and the people that came to that beautiful dinner. Thank you all so much on behalf of my family and friends.
We got the best hot dogs we could find.
It was very,
Well, that's quite a party, wasn't
it
it?
was very nice.
90 years old, pretty good. Really? Wait till you get there, you'll know.
For some reason, I don't think I'm getting there. Next, resolution, initial project resolution, Messina Green Hydrogen Facility. I think this gentleman up there is interested.
I'll move that on the floor.
Second,
So as you're aware, we've been working with Air Products on a green hydrogen facility in Messina. They've received an allocation of power from the New York Power Authority for the project. It's going to be located up off of North Main Street, very close to the existing Alcoa and Arconic operations, not on their property, but nearby. This resolution, as the Roman numerals at the beginning lay out, we're accepting their application. We're saying it to this point is substantially complete for our purposes. We're describing the forms of assistance, which would be a pilot agreement and a sales and use tax exemption. The process, they're requesting more than our standard 10-year pilot, so that will require us to have the affirmative consent of the town of Messina and the Messina school districts. So by way of process, we are working with them already. We will ultimately bring a proposed pilot schedule to them. Once they approve that, we will then set up a public hearing. At that point, we'll know what the value of the benefit is. As you'll see, that's the third Roman numeral, and then we will bring the project back here for a formal vote where you will see, or a final vote where you'll have that schedule with all the details and the cost benefit analysis. But at this point, we're accepting the application and moving forward with the review for hopefully a final resolution for you.
Already, the Power Authority has set aside an allotment.
Correct.
So they've gone through their observation and their.
So this has been announced. And it's kind of an interesting thing. Local people here don't seem to react to it at all.
That's a significant.
Yeah.
It's not just significant, probably the biggest thing gonna happen here in the next 10 years.
Okay.
But local people, it's not really been news, and I don't get that. Is it getting the support from the state of New York? The Power Authority.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I think the awareness of the project is probably greater in some parts of the state of New York than where the project's going to happen.
Right.
I think that'll change as we go through our process and school boards start voting and the town starts.
I don't think a lot of people understand this. There's been a lot of things going on with labor. The contracts are Iconic now have been settled with Alcoa. Alcoa, they got a 3-year contract, Iconic got a 4-year contract. I believe Iconic is in trouble though. And I think people in Messina know that, and they're very concerned because you look back, the number of people just being employed in Messina was several thousand. In 1960 or 85, we had 2,500 at Alcoa, 1,800 at General Motors, 800 at my local. You got less than 800 Alcoa in the whole country.
Which,
So Messina's devastated right
which
now.
is a good segue into, this is obviously a large project that's on their website. Do we have any idea how many ongoing jobs will be associated with this?
So, kind of answering both of you. One of the things when you look at the industrial history of Messina, certainly that history is added to, and I think for the future, we benefit from a $400 million investment in an industrial footprint. The application that we've received projects 65 jobs.
Yeah.
And in this day and age of Messina, that's a hell of a lot of jobs.
And this is also a green project because.
Yes,
the electricity
that
is
makes it
produced by
wonderful.
Hydro, so.
And I think the reason why it really hasn't sunk into the public consciousness is a lot of people really don't understand what this project is and what, you know, a hydrogen facility does and how it works. And so, you know, they're a little bit skeptical and a little bit, you know, but once they start building a almost $500 million project, I think it'll begin to sink in to the
I think it'll sink in a bit after this because this will be.
Well, there's another problem. You've had other projects that look like they were gonna go, the money, that, whatever you call that, funny money, and other projects that never went. And they've heard rumors of this gonna be done and this gonna be done, then it wasn't done. So anything we do now, unless we can put it down in black and white, show them it's gonna be, they are skeptical. They say, we've heard a lot before, nothing's happened. This is gonna happen. Once it's happened, there'll be a definite change.
And this is essentially too throughout, it's, as I understand, it's a super green project. It doesn't have any.
I tell you right now, they don't care if it's black or blue or white.
Well, I know, but there are.
You get 65 jobs,
Of
they'll take 'em.
our population that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and we live in a time of information overload. So what happens is, you know, a story like this 20 years ago would have had a lot more legs than it does right now. And part of it is, you know, people hear about projects that don't.
I get calls all the time about this project, that project, this project. I'm saying, there's nothing there. We haven't heard anything. They're anticipating something happening because all the land and stuff that's down there, the past mills, the past plants. But they are skeptical because nothing's really happened since we lost all those jobs.
Yep. And then, you know,
This will turn out to be great. If you get 65 jobs, I guarantee you, you'll put a medal of honor. Yeah.
Would you call them?
well, do you want to see? We've got that well-dressed, dapper-looking attorney who might have something to add. Anything, Kevin?
Well, I think the only thing I would add is with regard to the discussion on the number of jobs. We made this very clear when we were at the town planning board and emphasized it in our seeker presentation that we have enough land to double the size of this project. And so all of the environmental analyses and all the studies that were done by CNS engineers and presented to the town in support of their seeker negative declaration were for a doubled size project, for want of a better description. We're not committing to do that now because, as all of you know, the use of liquid hydrogen in trucks and buses is relatively new to the market. So we have to ascertain how fast this will be absorbed in New York. But everything that's being built will be sized so that we can expand the output, double the output of this project. So we'd be happy to be back to you in a couple of years to modify the pilot, to modify the relationship, and on land that will be part of the leased premises to build an expanded plant. I don't think it would double the employment, but it would certainly add a lot more. So I think that's about all I should really say at this point in time on employment.
Thank you.
Good enough for me for now. So we'll be anticipating more jobs. I got no problem with that.
Call the motion.
I move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Did you get a first and a second?
Second.
And then a third, maybe even?
Got it.
Resolution.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good time.
Have a great day.
Ribbon cutting.
Authorizing the subsipient. I'm just an engineer graduate. I have a subsipient agreement.
So moved.
St. Lawrence County for the St. Lawrence County Rescue Plan Act Economic Development and Tourism Funding Program. It's been moved, seconded, discussion.
Reiterating Brian's point, this is a sub-recipient agreement between.
What did I say, subsipient? Yeah,
I thought we were already doing that.
We are.
We are, now we can get money.
This
Now we get paid for it?
This one, yes, this formalizes the agreement. We received this from the county. We've discussed this with Attorney Silver. We requested some modifications, which the county has agreed to. We recommend doing this.
Like a red letter footnote on this before we get work for people in the future. We've done the work, we did, right?
It's ongoing.
It's ongoing.
Yes.
But we don't want to work for free.
Well, we are. No admin.
Get reimbursed for the expenditures we've made for the.
That's even worse.
we spent money, we're trying to get it back. All right, okay. Sir, do I hear a call? Well, I'll do it. Call the vote.
I call the question.
Call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. 7, resolution authorizing professional services for rail at the Benton Mine Site aggregate loading facility in town.
Excuse me.
Your motion?
So moved.
What's been moved and seconded? Discussion.
How the hell do you shut the camera on?
So we were awarded a New York State Department of Transportation Passenger and Freight Rail Assistance Program award back in 2016. We've had some extensions on this. We've had some requests to extend. We're gonna be working on this at this point. Rich, I'll turn it over for you for a quick summary of what the resolution is.
So this is for the real engineering portion of it. When we did the grant back in 2016, we had allotted $176,000 or something for engineering. It's actually closer to 72 or 3,000. Mohawk, Adirondack, and Benson have been in discussions again to bring back to life the rail siding and turnaround area to move the aggregate out of the site. I mean, to their correspondence, they're hoping to start moving something by this fall.
How do they move anything on the site now?
Truck.
All truck. So in effect, this is going to be more green than the truck.
That was the notion that we used for the grant back in 2016 even. Just, trucking through the Adirondacks in any kind of quantity is always a problem. So if this moves forward, if this project becomes a reality, this is all good stuff. But right now, all we're doing is accepting the extension and making certain that everybody's aware that Erdman Ante will be doing our engineering work on this.
Very good. Any more questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. We're gonna move to executive session. We do.
I move for executive session.
Yeah, what's? Everyone's here.
Call the question.
I don't hear made the
Oh, we haven't made the motion? Okay.
So we have floor.
motion. It's been moved.
Authorizing
Yeah, whichever one we
Authorizing allocation through the St. Louis County American Rescue Plan Act Economic Development and Tourism Funding Program.
Second the motion.
Discussion. There being no discussion?
Well, I think it's wonderful, and I think we should encourage more
Yeah,
people to do it.
absolutely.
We have many more in the pipeline.
And they can still be referred to our website for a lot of information. So
I'll have Dave give you a call, all right?
you do that. I'll give you an application before you leave.
Okay.
Call the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Pass unanimously. Okay.
Yes, that's good.
We're adjourned.
I so move.
We are adjourned. Okay.